Good. So welcome to our last Earth Noble Hub Exploring Consciousness for this year. And it's the 22nd of December. So we are very much in those solstice energies. And the question, we're going to kick it off. We want to be in the moment, but we'll get to that as well. I just want to get a nice little round table here going. Is what has happened to you, and what does it mean to you? Just, these energies in the solstice, and then we'll take it from there. Irina, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I will start sharing. I made myself Christmas and solstice presents, and I created workshop for me. I just finished workshop yesterday, and we covered 19. We started on 17, so we covered 19. New moon, we covered 21st, and all these energies bubbling, and it's so interesting. Each my workshop has some kind of theme that is uniting what we are doing, who is coming to workshop, and this time I was surprised. It started to be obvious even before workshop. This is what I feel today. Things we already so deep into that putting into new pie, that is we going to eat as experience of human beings, as universal beings. We are now choosing ingredients very carefully and very precisely. And what I feel about this solstice, it's like something, someone, some forces, some beings want to take into that new pie, like a proposition, and it's very hidden proposition. We really don't understand what is that ingredient is. Yeah, how it will play in our pie, how it will change our pie, our future experience of humanity. But they are pushing that thing, some forces and beings, pushing that ingredient. What I figure out, it just came so obvious. And remember we were mentioning Witcher second season came out.
Yes.
It started on 17, yeah? And entire my 5 days of communication with through my workshop, it was so obvious. From all our experience of domination, control, being involved in that domination limitation, duality limitation experience, we created, we were trying to mix together water, oil, and fire, and whatever ingredients, yeah? And what I see, we created in that our era of history, monsters that are not having place in understanding with heart, yeah? And creation through pain, that is not normal. We came here to create through bliss, through excitement, through that highest excitement possible. This is way of creation that is natural to this universe from beginning. And with that era of mixing war, love, domination, control all together, and doing all that experience through human skin suit, we created era of monsters and magic. Monsters and magic, they were coming together. And pain, creation through pain. We thought we finished with that thing. It's not so obvious in humanity for a long time already, but it is under the table, never finished, never stopped. That magic still going, monstrosity still going, all that still going. And this is what I saw, in my opinion, that monstrosity, that creation through pain, pushing now to our new possibility of experience on earth and in universe. And this is what I see, people activated so much. I see people who understand situation, just making their voice so loud. No, we are about love here. We are about bliss. We are about happiness, joy, all that things. So this is my vision, what's happening with this energy of this solstice and how it's different. But all in overall, it's actually very happy energy overall. People not buying so much into that disturbing energies of whatever were activated in 1920s and 21 and continued. It's my vision.
Thank you very much, Irina.
Thank you.
Who is next? What has come up for somebody else? Let's go through every single one of them. And even if nothing came up, then nothing came up. Just chip in with whatever that is.
May I ask Irina a question?
Also,
Irina, you were saying something about there are forces that were having like something secret they're holding back from us.
It's not exactly secret, Lana. It's
what is it you're talking
already.
about?
Ah,
Explain that a little further. What you're
okay,
talking
okay.
about.
Okay, you see, as AB shared this principle, and we already know it, we know all that thing. Everything happened by contract agreement, and it's agreement working in our reality. It must be opened. We must have consensus quietly by tacit consent or by voting to accept this is what we want to experience as humanity. And a lot of what's happening, that agreement coming with tacit consent. We even didn't know what's happening, but by our actions, we would say, yeah, I'm doing it, so I agree for that experience to be part of humanity. So this is what I kind like tune in. I see that possibility. Those forces who are today in a power, they try to create experience of our future that will be comfortable for them. And they are not in love. They are not in unity. They are not in beauty. They are in force and domination. So this is what I say, someone under the table pushing that into our future, that it still won't be 100% free will. It will be some kind of tacit consent. And people don't agree. People just say out loud, no, I don't want that anymore. I want everything to be clear. This is what I see.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So that's the kind of the secret under the table that they still want to push their agenda onto humanity, and humanity is saying, no, wait a minute, hold up right there. We've been there, done that, and we're not going to be doing that anymore. We're not going to engage with you. We're not going to give tacit consent or fine print or whatever else that they're always used to be working with, which they're comfortable with. And so we're saying no more to that.
Yes, exactly. And it is not so even secret. Like we see lately, it's so openly in the air. We see all that. We see it's sewn by those white threads. It's all so transparent today. So, and people, what is interesting, people saying out loud, no more, we're done. And those people who usually would sleep through those periods, they are now watching what's happening. They are semi-aware. This is what's interesting. They're not sleeping. No one's sleeping today, actually. No one.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is sleeping.
It's today concerning everyone's survival even. Survival even. This is how it's turned. So it's very interesting vibration, but all together, it's pretty joyful, actually. It's pretty celebrating. And moon, let me add a little bit, couple words about full moon. I went to my walk morning and it was still dark. And I looked at moon, you know, energy, how I perceived it, energy of some like awe, observing with awe, like something happening that we even didn't expect, but it's not pushing, it's not pulling, it's just observing. No action from that side. It's what I saw, what I perceived.
You mean from the moon? The observation
Through the
from
moon,
through
through the
moon.
moon,
Okay,
through the moon. Yeah.
cool. It's been
Good.
pretty beautiful lately, the moon. I've been seeing it from through the window in the evening hours. And it's pretty, like last night, it was sort of like an orange glow to it. It's very beautiful.
So let me summarize before we go to the next one then. So Irina, you're saying celebration of chaos.
No, 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 not celebration of chaos, celebration of order, natural order, without anyone pushing their agenda. This is what I feel, that kind. And it is still quiet, but it is here. And it's becoming louder and louder. So this is what I see.
Good. Who wants to go next? Thanks, Irina. And thanks, Lana, for asking your question. Who wants to go next? Question that went out there early on is, how did you perceive the current energies of the solstice? Have they affected you? Yes, no? And what are you seeing, perceiving, feeling? Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah. Yes.
It was a very strange time. It was like a reality shift for me. And so thank you for Martina to bring this question up, and Irena for saying what she said, and Lana, because I kind of remembered what happened the last couple of days. And it has been extraordinary. It's like a whole paradigm has completely shifted. It feels like some kind of mainframe that has been my personality and what I am and identify as I am has started to lift. And I feel really weird and vulnerable with it. It's beautiful at the same time. And the day of the solstice, or the day before the evening of it, I had an extraordinary encounter with a surgeon who is extraordinarily skilled in his craft. And he did a little dental work on me. And after the session, something very strange happened. He pulled a chair out and he sat down on it and gave an indication that wanted to talk, which is really weird. And I lifted myself up from the dental chair and was sitting, waiting. And he began to talk about how society has completely fallen to pieces. And I tell you, I was blown away, because this is somebody who is, these are my words, completely locked in to a very highly professional level, where if even one word or one question is asked, the consequences, I think you'd say career-wise, would be devastating. And we talked for maybe 30 minutes, 45. It was one of those moments, and I can chat with anybody, but these were one of these moments where it was like feeling this old me, and then having to step back, going deeper and deeper into myself at each moment, to be able to answer as honestly and clearly as I could to somebody who was so skilled in what they do, that to have this conversation with him, I had to be so honest and without any bullshit within it. And we had a meeting that I put down to all these energies that are happening, and call it the gift of COVID if you wish. And in the end, I had to simply say to him, get the book by Klaus Schwab, The Fourth Industrial Revolution. Read that, and we can have another conversation if you wish. Because I didn't want to get into go to here, go to there, go to this site, do that. Or it was like, this is someone who was earnestly reaching out, and to try and meet them on their level, which is essentially intellectual. But they understood completely that something had gone fundamentally wrong with our society and the way we were living. And it touched me so much. And that essentially has been the story up to right this minute with all different people that I'm meeting. It's like, I would call this like the heart cracking open. And this is like you're sitting there and you're holding someone's heart in their hand. And on the other hand, you've got your own. And what can you say at that moment? Not an awful lot. And this solstice, I did not make a fire outside. I was burning my candle, and I was gifted quite a lot of sage. So I dried it, and I was just burning sage for the last few nights. And I'm feeling extraordinarily uncomfortable because this identification of what I am and who I am has somehow being lifted off me. It feels like it. And I'm just happy to be here sitting with you guys because I'm really happy, but I'm feeling pretty lost at the same time. And I think that's what it's all about. Because everything I've understood, everything I've believed to be what I am, has come from the conditioning of my ancestors, past, future, present, whatever you want to put it. I am not this. So what am I? What am I really? I've spent so many years in commune, sitting there meditating, who am I, what I am. And it's like even that one, you can just take off, chuck it out the window, and let's begin again with nothing. And can I be good with comfortable and with nothing? I think I've got to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I picked up the computer, dialed up the andrewbartitz.com and began the Living the Mystical Life Daily. I thought this is going to be about the only thing I can really hang on, that I can actually say, I put my heart here. And so thank you. Thank you for bringing up this point with the solstice. Bring on the next solstice, because this is going to be really a roller coaster, I feel.
Thank you very much for sharing that, being so open. Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. It doesn't require any more words to that, does it? Very nice. Who's next?
May I comment a little bit about Shoba's sharing? I present in my awareness, second one, when you share in your inner world so openly. It's so interesting for me because you are all the time bringing this message of no layers, no definitions, through layers and definitions. It's like you are bringing that essence of what happening through each your moment of experience, and that essence, and you don't understand really, you're saying you don't understand, but you bringing it, you all the time putting into words. It's so beautiful. Like Martina said, no words required anymore. You don't understand, maybe on this level you can't put into some kind of logic thing, because what's happening, it's not logical, it's not long ago, it's not logical, but you are having that seed of that, it's not even universal truth, it's consciousness truth all the time in your message, and it's coming so clear, like a water through stone dripping and making this environment completely different. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there is this triangle. One is vibration, one is matter. Obviously, there are lots of different triangles saying different things, and one is energy. Now, it's the frequency, energy, and matter. It's the frequency that you've been sharing, which just shuts everyone up in a way, because it's that frequency that you shared with such an open heart, if you want to call it the heart, with such an open, that inner truth of yours, yeah, that letting go, that total lack of identification, that nothingness, that is everything. And that's what that nothing needs to be added, because that nothingness, what you just called out, is everything.
I feel it's like before some kind even vibration appeared, that just first direction of intention of consciousness in state to be, to start to move in direction to do. This is what I feel, that Shobha is bringing that to be state of everything that we are already in experience of to do, that consciousness in state of not doing anything. This is what I recognized. Yeah.
That's being, and also being in allowance of that exploration of what's next, who and what am I in this expanded space.
Exactly. When we recognize that state in us just to be without doing, this is that possibility. Remember, we started a couple months ago, you, Martina, started that not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. And this is what's creating new possibilities. And we are today as humanity, Mother Earth and the entire universe, we are in that state. We are creating brand new experience possibility. This is what happening now. Yeah. And Shobha so clearly bringing that not doing thing through doing. She's describing doing, but I can hear that not doing so clear. Yeah.
It's almost like I was looking at Matthias de Stefano yesterday, and he talks about the dimensions, and he says the first dimension is where I am. There's no division. It's consciousness as it is, and it's got a feeling to it. I am. There is no cognitive knowingness what the I am is. I just am that space, that not even space in the first, and then that one is linked to the 8th dimension, infinity sign, where everything is possible. And I think what I'm getting from what Shobha just said, she just said that I am one, dimension one. I'm back to one. I'm everything. I've went through everything, and now everything just exploded, and I'm back to one, which is 8. Everything, which is infinite possibilities. And I mean, how does it get better? I mean, that is pretty much what we are wanting from this solstice energy, right? With the sun, so in line with the galactic gate. What's it called? Galactic gate? No. Anyway, portal. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. So thanks very much for that. Now, having said that, yeah, my thing would have been completely different. So don't get now hung up about, oh, I need that experience as well. No, we all have completely different experiences, right? So like Irina, started with, oh, the monstrous stuff is coming through, and we need to sort out all of that. So who else wants to share what experience they've had?
Here lately, coming up to the solstice, a lot of things in my world have really been in a lot of chaos, not myself, but just people close to me, situations at work, and I have felt really calm through it. I felt like a bubble in like a snow globe where everything is shaking up around me, but I'm just kind of watching it. And yesterday, getting ready to have a solstice fire, I just kind of felt myself push all of that to the side, like I'm just not going to be in the middle of that anymore, so that I can go forward and focus on the things that I want to focus on. And my perspectives have shifted a lot. Like Shobha was saying, I won't be as eloquent as she was in saying them, but just everything that I think I figure out, everything that I think I am gets reset back to zero. And so having that softness and flexibility to constantly accept whatever is, instead of trying to decide that it's only what you have figured out so far, is really important for going forward, because there's so many layers to everything. We're never going to fully figure it out. So just being able to go with the flow and come in and out with the tide, I think is really important for me going into the rest of this year and next year.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen. Anyone else?
Well, good morning. Hello. I was just listening to everybody coming in from work, and so it was interesting listening to what everybody was saying. Yeah, you know, anchoring into everybody and feeling more what's going on rather than hearing, because the words weren't making a whole lots of connections today. But in the last couple of days, I've really noticed that there's a push on the outside world on everything, the weather, people, their experiences, and it seems like a lot of really hard things to deal with have like come up for a lot of people that I know or the area. Like today, you know, it's winter time, it's 30 degrees outside and it's raining and it looks like it's wet, and you step on it and it's pure ice, you know, and everything is ice. And it's like, okay, you have to watch your step or you will fall and bust your butt or your head, right? So it's really, and it reminded me of 2011, when things for me had been going about every 2 years increasing, and 2011 was one of those years too, and it was also an ice winter like that. And what it then led me to listening to you guys talk today was, first of all, I realized I had to be very careful with where I put my foot and step with intention of being safe, you know. Walk with awareness that you're in an ice, a crystalline world, and you don't have your footing yet. And yet it can adapt to you, but you have to walk with care. You have to walk with ease. Otherwise, this vehicle, this skin suit is going to get hurt, and you're going to have to then slow down and take a bigger view, right? So then I'm listening to what you all are saying and feeling what you're saying. And Shobha, when you were speaking, one of the things that I was feeling was that I was laughing because yesterday was a really hard day for the people around me emotionally. And I kept looking out at the sky, and every time I looked out, there was a new chemtrail. And normally I would bless it or something. And I just laughed at it. And I said, thanks for reminding me what I no longer want to support. And I just laughed at it. Normally I would bless it, right? But yesterday it was very clear. No, laugh at it. Thank you for reminding me all this energy that I've spent trying to control me. Okay, right? That's when you realize that you're the you, that is the you, that's unaware that it's the you that's experiencing the I, that the I is seeing, okay? And it's like, so everything that I've been hearing today is like, I'm giggling because it's part of what's been being shown and being brought forward. And remembering that all those awful, vicious things that we've been seeing, that at some point in time in our existence, we did it too. There you go. Amen. We're just as dark as they are. We're just as black as they are. We're just as guilty as they are. We've done just as many horrendous things because they are us. We are them. That's one of our experiences somewhere in the time we came forth till now. Oh God, okay, all right. Oh, I really have to forgive myself for all the horrible things I've done to people. Oh my God. First grade, the neighbor girl came over and my mom was next door helping her mom bake because they had 6 kids and they got biscuits and gravy every day. They never got any treat, nothing. Their dad got all kinds of stuff, but the 6 kids got biscuits and gravy every day, morning, noon, and night. And my mom was over there baking. And I was like, no, I don't want to have to do the dishes. I want to be over with you experiencing something that you don't get to do because it's a cool thing. And I was next door at my house doing dishes that my mom didn't want to do. And I'm a kid, I'm like first grade, second grade. I'm not old. So I got the broom out and I started chasing my best friend out the house because I was so mad and so angry and so jealous and hurt and left out and abandoned. And I'm laughing at it going, I was chasing me, I chased me and I'm still chasing me. And every time those horrible things would come out, oh my God, the dreams that came forward of what was going to be. And in 2016, the year before I met Andrew, oh my goodness gracious, the worst nightmares, dreams, prophetic dreams in the world came true. And it's horrible to realize that you're seeing what you've already seen, right? And you're so emotionally caught in it because you realize you dreamt it and you saw it and was changed a little bit, but it's reality and you're experiencing it in this now and now, and you don't know how the hell to get out of it. Ugh, So all these things were running by saying that one thing. You realize that you are the one that doesn't know that it's the one. And you are the many that it's, breathed out to experience and sounded to experience, but now realizes that it too is that silence, that essence of being, and not even knowing anything except for being. It's like being enveloped in that black purple cloud. And it's like nerve endings, nerves, they have the little synapses at the end, and they kind of link together. And it's kind of like you're there in that space, in your ether, you're just part of that color. And there's no definition, you just are like now, when you are now, do you feel every part of your body? Or are you right like here? Where are you? It's the same thing. It's where are you? Oh, okay, I'm still here. I still feel the same. There's none of this stuff. And you're speaking, you're communicating. And there's another, but there isn't another. Nerves, networking, communicating. They don't say I'm one, you're one. They just light up. And so these last couple of days for me, observing what I've been doing the last lifetime, okay, last few lifetimes that I can remember. What am I doing? How am I reacting? How am I spending my energy? And when I came back from seeing Andrew, I was so friggin' floored with PTSD after living under a stalker for 1.5 years. I really was. It took every nerve, strength, courage I had to go across the states, get on 3 different planes, land at the airport, walk through the terminal, get on another friggin' thing, and then walk through the hotel. Oh my God, I couldn't hardly move. And yet, after I got there, I just lit up. Nothing mattered except when I was in the group and I could use their energy to blow myself up and go out and bless the world and send out those loving vibrations that didn't care how, where I got there. It didn't matter. I was there and I was emitting, and it was the most marvelous thing that you can do because you're free, you're loving, you're giving, you're connected. All those little nerves are going on. And yet crippled to go back out again, but it was amazing because after that, I had the courage to be a little bit more, and I had to say, how would I have done this before the PTSD? What would I have done? So I use that to remind me. And then it's like, okay, what would I have done in that lifetime? You know, I get bits and pieces, right? What would that part of me in that lifetime be doing it? And I finally had to say, excuse me, fuck you, fear. If that's the only reason I'm not going to do it, then I'm doing, you know, and that became my motto. And so when I see the chemtrails in the sky yesterday, instead of saying fuck you or bless you, I just laughed, you know? And so these few days have been a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I can see that. And I'm not going to judge it in any way, but I'm going to say there's been a lot of stuff for a lot of people. But imagine all that stuff now, we can bag up and sit outside the door or put it in the car or put it in the trash can. We take it out or we can say, thank you very much, we're done. And it's gone. Because the most important thing is that vibrational thing. So to me, this time, this year, at this moment now, is giving a lot of people the opportunity to delouse themselves, take a few pounds off, you know, revive those muscles and bring back muscle memory, revive those memories of self from 0 point before we came, you know. That's what it's been for me. And listening to every one of you who has spoken or moved since I got to tag in, every one of you are reflecting a piece of that experience. And so, namaste. Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Tanya was also ready to do.
Wonderful experience.
Yeah, I had an interesting day yesterday. I went on my dog walk in the morning to this place where in San Francisco, it's a park where on Day of the Dead, they have all of the altars to the ancestors. And I play with my dog, you know, with the ball, and there's acorns that drop from these giant cypress trees that are just these amazing beings of grounded light, you know, these giant trees. And so we run, you know, walk and run around these big trees. And so just this experience of being, you know, in the present moment, right, with the dog, right, which is all, she's all heart, right? And that space of the heart is, I'm trying to kind of distill a lot of different things down into down into one little container. But what Shobha was saying about being in that void space, right, of having all of these experiences and not all of a sudden not knowing who right, who is here, right, who the I am presence is, and what does that mean? So later in the day, my friends have gotten a puppy, and I went to see the puppy, and their dog passed away, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. And my friend said that the puppy has filled this hole in her heart. And I thought, well, you know, we have a choice to be in that space where we're feeling the loss, right? And we're trying to bring things from outside of us to fill up that heart space. Or we can go into that woundedness, can go into that void space within the heart where there is that sense of everything and nothing occurring all at once. And that's a really sweet spot, because when we open up that portal, right, and it's what Irina was talking about in her presentation that she did, that little toroidal field, right, that portal within the heart. There's so much richness to be found within that space, right? Because everything is occurring, all our multidimensional selves and all our past lifetimes, and every single moment of time in our connection with Mother Earth and ourselves and the sun and the galactic center and the moon. So I just had a lot of awareness around that space, and that's kind of like how I do anyway. I try to really keep in that space of awareness within that portal within the heart, so all of these different things can kind of ebb and flow through. I was also in Chinatown yesterday, in San Francisco, Chinatown, and I don't know if any of you have watched Warrior, the Bruce Lee origins, but yeah, that took place all in that Chinatown area, and there's a lot of energy down there that was in an area where San Francisco kind of first got started during the gold rush. I mean, the Spanish came in much earlier than that, and did a whole bunch of energetic dark magic. But there's a lot of very dense energy in Chinatown. So I was in this little shop and I found these really fun T-shirts, and I was standing in there kind of looking for something specific, and all of these tourists were coming in. So people just coming in and coming out, and I was just kind of standing there and looking and going to the back and going to the front and not really finding what I was looking for. And so I just kind of stood there and I did some energy clearing of the land there. And then I kind of, more people started kind of coming in and coming out and kind of walking in this like circular motion, to kind of, I don't know, clear the energy out of where I was. And so then I, made my purchase and I found what I was looking for and left. And it was so strange. All of a sudden it was like police car and ambulance central and fire truck central. All of these police cars came down the street after like this opening of energy had happened. So I don't know what exactly happened there, but there was some powerful, I think, energy clearing. And today is a grid day, so now I can feel the energetic grids in San Francisco, almost like a lighterness and an openness that wasn't there before.
Can I share something that's you really kind of agreed to be there to help kind of set in a pre-code so that those things could happen, and like you noticed that it happened quickly and you could feel the difference, and you were talking about the grid work too. And last week after we did the session where I got to lead all of you, and I really heard that I should tell you please to come forth with your Mayan calendar and that realm of information that you have, because you're supposed to be bringing that here for us. And so your grid work also grid work, that's cool. It was reminding me of, again, a time period of about when I was meeting Andrew, and I was noticing electrical lights outside changing, and they would actually change color, not just go on or off or flicker, but they would change colors. And I would be like, is anybody else seeing this? But I really feel like there's the same ability with your awareness of the grids and the awareness of the changing of it and stuff, and the different pockets of wealth of information that you have, that all of us who have at any time in the last, let's say since 2009, something like that, done any kind of grid work or any kind of pillar of light work or any kind of spiraling work, or they're including Merkaba work. Any of you guys that have done any of that stuff, it kind of helped like set up a new grid work. And so what I think, Tanya, is happening is that you're experiencing now like the synchronistic dropping in, if I can say it that way, that's going to happen. And all of those things that all of us kind of like have been part of somehow or another in our areas, we may be experiencing the same type of thing. So that was a good thing. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Do we have one more? Hermenia, do you want to say something?
Hello. Well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's interesting that you start talking about the solstice, because I just remember yesterday I had a recording from the one that I did this with Natalie. I started watching it this morning because yesterday I was planning to do it was so many mixed up situation in my life yesterday. So many, everybody was coming with like a kind drama. And then I decided, oh, let me do like a, like ancestor soup. And then that was the only thing I couldn't do yesterday. I was able to do the soup, and I had the soup here, still not doing anything. However, I put the prayers and the intention. I am planning to do like a small fire this evening and then put it in the patio outside for the ancestor. And I had just remind myself about, I was reviewing the book, the Galactic book, and page 101 said that you are a supernatural human being, that you have forgot that you were, because you had to be adjusted to the belief system that we have. It's something like that I said. And then when I read that, I said, oh my God, I didn't remember to read this before. He said, okay, I had to remind myself every time I come in one of those situations, I am a supernatural being that happen to be playing the game that is natural because it's according to the rule in this planet. I was laughing about it. And any case, and having like a kind challenge at time, and at the same time very unique, like Robin said about the weather, because let's see here in New York, by that time it's very, very cold. And then this week we had the weather in this, last week we had the 50, 57, 56. And then suddenly one day is cold, another day is kind of warm, and then it's the sunshine coming out. You look like you are going to a spring, not to the winter. Kind of interesting how things are happening. And then it's a lot of challenge for myself too. And then just like when you're coming out of the battle, that you're doing the last battle to coming out. That's the feeling I have been getting Leslie last week. It's a lot of stuff. But however, I'm just trying to remind myself of those two that Andrew had gave it to us. Last night I went to bed asking to be in the North Pole with the aurora, with the light of the planet light, the natural one. I was asking for that last night when I went to bed, because so many things that we had to remember, but we had so involved in so many drama in this that we had like a survival mode. And then how I break myself not to go to the survival mode, that's the challenge. Any case, that's my little 1 cent contribution.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that you said a lot of what I was saying is that, reflecting back a lot of the stuff going around in other people yesterday. And, it actually was a few days leading up to it. And it's interesting now in listening with you kind of saying at least a part of it over again. I heard Laura Eisenhower with one of her shows yesterday, somebody was speaking on the exact same thing. And then as you were talking, I heard another like bleep of a video, probably a Zoom or podcast that I heard yesterday too. So I'm giggling. Yeah, it was. And so I was giggling, saying, that message came through with other people discovering it or sharing it too, about 2 or 3 times yesterday, now that you speak. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, guys. So there was stuff shifting, just like when people say stuff is shifting. I have had just a realization. I don't know, a reminder maybe, and this is why we're having a topic today, which is called being here now. And the reminder that I want to pass on that I've been giving myself was reminding myself why we're actually here. Now, we're all seeking particular purposes and we all have specific gifts and everything, but I want to go a total big picture. Why are we here? We are here in the Galactic Ascension Machine, right? because we are supposed to heal the turmoil, the drama, the trauma over the last 52 million years, right?
Yes.
All of this, if we go and actually look at the bigger picture of that, the way to do that is to find our soul codes. So part of the reason why we are meeting all these people, talking to dentists, finding new little puppets, yeah, having all these conversations with people, perceiving the chaos and everything, is because people are reaching out to each other so that they can complete those soul codes. And that's really why we're here. So bigger picture, everything you've said is going in this direction. Bigger picture is that in order to do this, we have to be here on this planet, being here now, present moment. No matter what we now starting to look at in terms of dimensions, all we need to really understand these are different levels of awareness. And the most important thing is we have to be here now. We have to have an experience. All of these experiences that are happening to you and to us and to everyone have to happen so that we are creating, these are like synchronicities. We have, somebody said footed, being footed. We have to stay footed. We have to have these conversations with these people. Because as we do, we are exchanging soul codes. And then I listened to one of AB's things just to remind me of the soul families, the primary soul families, which are the animals that are coming here to having an experience in the food chain, right? And they are with us, coming from all different planets, dimensions, suns, and everything into this galactic ascension machine. And then, of course, the other ones where our skin suit is, well, he's talking about, I think, 2,300 soul families, soul species that are here. And we are all part of that. Now, we have to remind ourselves that we have to have experiences, and it doesn't matter which ones. Happy, sad, laughing, eating, you know, all of that. This is what we're here for. So the solstice for me was like embodiment. Eat, have fun, laugh.
Yeah.
Take it down to that level.
Yeah.
You know, all this amazing contemplation and exploration, we all have to bring it down, because if we're not doing the physical be here now journey, nothing's going to happen. We have to stay in the body. We have to keep our bodies happy and healthy. And we have to really, only then we can start transmitting our soul codes and receiving our soul codes, which are innately within us in our auric field. So for me, this has come in terms of I am a portal to create that. And of course, what else came for me personally was I have to get out the house. There's a lot of work I can do on Zoom and everything. But as soon as we can start traveling, I'm going to be out there. And then also looking back in my life is like all the international work that I've done, the fact that I've left my home country and everything, all of that. We are here to complete our soul codes and to help others purely by meeting them. That puts that ease on not having to do anything. Just like, you know, I love when Tanya said she went over to meet that new little puppy. Well, yeah, that's what you had to do. You didn't even have to do any clearings of the grid. Just be there in that particular shop, right? Because she is a puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was obviously pulled there, but she had to go there. She had to get dressed. She had to get out, you know, and be feeling happy and healthy enough in order to
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
You know, Martina,
Else
now,
more important than us having an experience. Good, bad, happy, sad, doesn't fucking matter. Just have the experience. Allow it.
yeah,
Sorry.
Martina, now that you mentioned now, it remind me Dolores Cano, that in one of the lectures that she was mentioned, that many of people that are here now, we are just that, portal to bring code. For example, there are people that they don't care about life, they don't do anything, nothing spiritual. However, they have a code inside that just going to the store, they activate other people. That you can see it like a dumpy people that don't do anything, don't care about anything. However, they have very important task here in this moment. They are working people, are working other people, even that they don't doing anything. You know, it's very interesting how you say now, because I was in a meeting like in 2014 with a group of the quantum and many of one, and then was one of my company was one of my friends. He was in Manchester, and the guy that was conducting the meeting, he said, everybody is possible, give me a hug to this lady over there in that table, because she was in Manchester. Anybody here that want to be activated with a code, just go to her and give a hug to her, and we'll be able to receive the code. And that's the way it is. We have the code inside us that we don't know, and then just going to the store and say hello, smile, and say how you doing. People open right away when we show that openness, and then that's just a changing code. Memories that happen there.
Well, why we had to learn and have to keep on at it, the self-mastery. Because the key is neutrality. The key is the neutral perspective, the neutral point of view. Only then because, it might be a murderer, it might be a complete asshole who, performs on the street, and yet you still have to connect and change the soul code with them.
Also, too, I'm hearing to add on, technology, many times when Earth has gotten to this point, has fallen through and hasn't progressed on because of technology as being the final balancing point that, overthrew the balance. So right now, going out and being part of life and interacting with people and touching your feet on the ground and going into the store and talking with the people, and when I see them, I call them by their name, or, I live in a small place. So it's one of the things about a small place, their name. And if I don't, I ask. And, but that interaction, you never know when someone's going to look at you, or you're going to look at them, or something, just a small incident. It doesn't have to be anything, and it triggers. And then that creates then a chain reaction. Then it allows the next people to trigger. And it's so, but the other thing that I want to add to that same excitement of going out is that now we're being asked to use our Zoom, and not just through our Zoom, but all of you to go out and do some kind of that and connect that way too. So that new level of being and allowing is going out through us through technology. Okay, so technology now is going to be brought into our equation, and instead of it just being a thing out there, or a thing that's being used so heavily by owned media platforms, whatever they are, this, and it only takes a few to do it, to counteract and to balance out all the negative. If they shine bright enough, it only takes a few to far outweigh the vast number of. So they're asking us all, and I'm being told to listen to what I'm being led to say, is that going out and doing this too with other means, rather not just the hub here, but that will help change that code for the technology.
Absolutely. Right? There's no difference if you obviously we've got technology, internet, and all of that, and we got to use it. These are our new pyramids. Okay,
right.
We're just gonna have to use them, and that's absolutely fine, because we have the range of reach is so much bigger. So
and plus, when you're doing it, that vibration is going through all the wires or the satellites or the ethers to get from one place to the other too.
Yeah. Equally so that, as we said earlier on, neutrality is key. Not having a judgment about technology and everything. And also coming on to, not just on the hub, absolutely, as you say, just getting out there, speaking, you know, be seen. Just get on it, get onto whatever you want to get onto, and just, or even just read it, be part of it, you know. There's the inner work, yes.
Mhm.
And then there's the invitation to say, okay, inner work, yes. And now get out there again. That was my invitation. Look at
Yes, yes.
yourself out there in every way, and don't poo-poo any interaction. Is this now with a mouse or with a man, you know?
Yeah, really emphasize that one, Martina. That one has come in loudly this past week. Really, that's been a very loud message.
Good. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to do all these lovely things that you were telling us before. Look at it from a soul activation perspective. Yeah? Not just from a healing perspective, but from a soul activation perspective. And then, you know, the invitation goes out. Whatever interaction you have with anyone, how is that going to activate your soul codes? Can you start having a bit more of an awareness of that? If that is of interest, of course, to you, it might lead you to understanding more, you know, parts of which star systems you come from. It might, you know, help you, assist you in activating more of your knowingness and remembrance of your past lives as well, or future lives for that matter, you know.
I
And
think,
it's
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, just one more thing, and it's always the bigger picture often takes you out of the chaos and the problems and everything. It's like, oh shit, yes, galactic Ascension Machine. Yeah, 66 planets. Yes, that's why I'm here. I forgot. Right. Tanya.
So I just wanted to say about the soul codes that, you know, like you were saying, every person that we come in contact with, right, we can download codes from and upload codes to. But I work with crystals, a lot of crystals, and the crystals are just like shouting at me, these two in particular, to say, we help. We help too, right? We help to download and upload codes. So codes that aren't meant for, like if I'm working with someone, if they have codes that aren't meant for me particularly, the crystals will upload the codes and then download them into the people that they're meant for. And so you can set up a crystal grid in your house. You can set up crystals in the spaces where you work, and they work as transmitters and receivers for codes. And they also help to transcend the negative use of technology. So you can use, especially the Arkansas quartz, which just holds such a wonderful high vibrational frequency. They will, when used around your computer, when asked to assist you in clearing those energetic lines, you know, through Zoom or through your phone, or, you know, if you're watching something and you want to keep that energy out and take the energy that is properly meant for you, they'll assist in that also. So they just wanted to say, hey, use us. That's why we're here.
Tanya,
we want to play. We want to play.
Take the crystals a little bit further, and they want you to talk about packaging like as a pre-packaged grid that somebody could buy, like a bag of them that could be set up as a grid.
Yeah, I do that.
Do you do that? They want you to talk a bit about it.
Oh, okay. So, so one of the things that the Arkansas quartz crystals are great for are creating house protection grids and energetic grids that you can set intentions into. So if you have one of these big crystals, which one wants to come? So what you can do is have a large one, you know, that's 4 inches or larger, and then have smaller ones, like little satellites that are kind of like smaller ones, right? And so with the combination of the clear quartz, combination of rose quartz, and black tourmaline, you can set up a great little energetic protection grid with little satellites in like the four corners of your space. Or if you have a house with a yard, you can extend it to the corners of your property. And then what you would do is use the large crystal to set intentions. So if you hold it to your heart and imagine yourself inside the crystal, and then show all of the satellite crystals which have been pre-placed, set up in the corners of your space, visualize the center crystal clicking in to all the other crystals, creating a unified, functional grid that will allow certain intentions. So if you want to say, okay, I'm going to set my grid up to have intentions that no one with bad intentions can come in, right? So great, show your crystal that, clicking into the little satellite crystals, and that will be your intention, right? Energy of love and light coming into my house. Great, set that intention. So any intention that you want, you can use, the crystals will help support that.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And then bring the codes in and out and distribute to anyone who comes through your space, whether it's your shop, whether it's your home, whether it's a healing space.
Thanks, Tanya.
Add something else about the codes. I love what you said about the grids because I do a lot of grids as well. But we went walking in an area not far from where we live last week, and the other counties bladed a bunch of trails through there. They're really nice. We just hadn't gone there in a while. And as we were walking through there, like I got a message from the elementals there about how happy they were that we returned, and that they love it when we come here because we leave footprints of light behind us, and I could see them like as we were walking forward. So I think that we exchange codes not only with each other and with the animals, but with the earth itself as well.
Absolutely, yes. Fantastic. And what else comes to mind talking about crystals now? Of course, connecting to the moon. That is a big thing, because all the crystalline cities that are in the moon, with all the ascended masters up there, so I think there's something in the book about the moon which very much speaks to that, to look at that, connecting to the ascended masters in all the crystal cities in the moon. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, Jen, but we still have to still be grounded for all of that. Use our feet to walk, and our mouths to talk, and everything to be seen. But we've gone beyond that now in terms of having to be seen and heard and all of that. We're all okay to be heard and be seen. Now we just got to spread ourselves.
I just dropped a little slide in the chat that has a picture of the house protection grid and some instructions if anybody's interested.
So yeah, download it before, because I can't do this afterwards with the recording. Fantastic. Good. Fantastic. So I was thinking what we could do, unless anyone wants to say something along those lines, or also being here now, understanding, there is no other place where we need to be. Because we're always in the right place at the right time. Everything is just perception, right? And projection. So wherever we are, be happy with that and have some fun with it. I think that the main message is really just have some fun with it. Start creating from there. And it's interesting because, in the beginning of my journey, I never even looked into spirituality or what is my purpose. I was just like do one thing after the next, all just karmic resolution, and everything just happened. Synchronicities just happened. It got more difficult when I started learning about it, because like, oh my God, da da da, and then I almost stopped it, because I started thinking it needed to be a certain way, and then all the judgment came in and everything. Throw that out the window now.
Can I
Back into
say
it.
something about what you just said?
Hmm.
I was thinking, what if we came here with no purpose, really? But our actual purpose is to just exchange soul codes.
That is it. That's the purpose.
In this particular lifetime.
That's the
And
purpose.
we think that we're so busy trying to find a purpose, whereas we're actually living the purpose.
Yep.
Just by just being here, just
by being here.
doing on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to soul codes, I was thinking that soul codes are just exchange through every means you can think of, through sound, through voices, through pictures, through the internet, in every way possible. Our soul codes are exchanged. But one of the things that you guys were talking about, and I got to thinking about this, the technology that we have now, and Martina, you mentioned it's the pyramid of our times, which I found quite interesting about that. But nowadays, there's so many shops that provide, for example, supermarkets. They provide shopping online. And in the past, people used to have to go to the actual supermarket, the grocery store, and they interact with each other. And when they interact, they're exchanging soul codes without even realizing it. But the question now is that people are purchasing their grocery online, and all they do is pull up to the parking lot, and then an individual will bring the grocery to them. Are they limiting exchanging their soul codes by doing this? This is an interesting thing to think about, because if you think about it, if they were actually in the physical shop itself, they would have encountered dozens of people by doing that each time that they go to the store. But now that they're not actually going there physically into the shop, they're just sitting in their vehicle, and then someone would bring the stuff out to them. Are they creating a limitation, in other words, to exchange that soul code? What does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yes, we are creating a limitation, absolutely. And this is where, we're being advised to not get stuck on our couches and become hermits.
Absolutely. And the other thing too, sorry, Martina, let me cut you off. Go ahead, finish.
Unless you really turn around and say all the stuff that I'm missing out on by going shopping, because really that's not necessarily what I want to do, I'll make up with by getting myself out there on Zooms and talk to people along those lines, and do the work, either by having clients or speaking to friends or anything, or people that you obviously don't know. So absolutely, that's where, we need to be careful not to become hermits, because there is a limitation in that. It's a bit like, one more thing that just comes to mind. It's like, why does everyone need to go to the gym nowadays, right? Because we're not doing our own housework so much. Right? Or less of it, because there is no, we just put the washing into the washing machine. We don't have to stand there and do this, and stuff like that. So yeah, is there a limitation in that? Yes. No, we're actually not moving our bodies that much anymore.
But if you think about it, if that individual who is doing the purchasing online, that was supposed to be in the grocery store to exchange codes with me or you, that's sort of like me or you missing out on having that exchange of soul code with that person. So it's kind of, in a sense, maybe perhaps delaying the codes from being shared on the planet. Yes, because if they give you the code that you need and you download that code because of your passing each other in the store, then you can have that code downloaded in you, and then you can be able to share that with 1,000 or 10,000 individuals on Zoom.
Yeah, it's a bit like, look at Tanya. If she wouldn't have actually made the effort to go to the shop, she couldn't have told us about it, right? She shared her information, all the synchronicities with that, whatever you want to call it, soul code or not. That's the underlying thing at the end of the day. That's why experience, and remember, AB is always about bloody experience. Well, that is why, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing that's happening too, though, because of this kind of the forced lockdown and all that stuff that we're talking about, and pushing us. What I think that there's another thing that's happening, though, is that it's pushing us, whether we're aware of it or not, to share those codes in things that come into our vicinity, maybe in areas that we pass by, maybe in something that we might handle in the store, maybe that's something that we might handle and it's in our own vicinity, but because of what we put into it, its energy passes on to all of those things related to it out there. It's like when you talk to a tree, like you've been doing at your place, Martina, showing us some of the really interesting places. And yet every time you go there and you talk about what it is, all of those plant beings are sending through their roots to all the plant beings all around the world that love and energy and awareness and appreciation that you're talking to us about. So I think there's other levels of sharing codes that's going maybe covertly from our awareness, that we're not aware that we're doing it. But, like Tanya picking up the crystals, it's talking to her and she's picking up the crystal, showing us, thereby acknowledging the energy of the crystal, and the crystal is talking to all the other crystals, and the ones still down in the earth are resonating with those crystals. And as we're resonating with it, she's talking about it, and now we're resonating with our own crystals down there. So what's happening is we're being forced to allow those codes to be shared in other ways also,
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And I think one of the things is that since the lockdown has happened, it has pushed people to do more online stuff, which caused Zoom to really become such a big thing. And while they're thinking of locking everybody down and not being able to exchange soul codes, they've actually done a blessing for us, because now we can really share with more people through Zoom and other means on the internet. Yeah,
that's what they say. It backfired.
yeah.
I mean, look at how many different places we all are here.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we're spanning across the United States and into the UK. And Hermenia, where do you live?
I'm in New York, I stay in New York like 1 hour and a half from Manhattan. Yeah.
And also, we span the world, and the people that we deal with. And then think about all the other places that you've been before, or that you've lived in before, and those who have been in other countries before and even touched their, all of those places that we physically have touched too are all kind of resonating now.
Well, and look at all those things that are in the grocery store that have come from all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And so when you go and shop and you say, oh wait, oh no, not that one, I'm gonna touch this one. This apple came from, I don't know where the apple came from, but local from the world, imported ingredients from all different places.
And every time you pick up something that you like or that makes your heart sing, you're blessing it and you're sending love back to where it came from,
I mean, I can't imagine someone shopping for me because I want that one, not this one over here that you might choose for me.
Well, you know what
Yeah.
I find fascinating is that when I go to Walmart and I see grapes and I look at like on the package, where did this come from? And it says Chile. And I'm thinking, wow, this is all the way down by Antarctica. This is pretty far away.
Yeah.
But
That's
that brings me to the question also. When you touch something, are you leaving your soul code on that thing
Mhm.
so that the next person that comes by and touch that same thing, are they, in a sense, picking up your soul code from that thing?
I think we have to make a distinction between the signature frequency and soul codes, you know?
Yeah, maybe an imprint would be a good word. You may be leaving a photonic imprint of some level for that particular person, or maybe a string of people that are going to come along later. And maybe it's going to be totally invisible or behind the shield, you know, they've got the force field up and no one else can detect it until the right person comes along, you know, and Arthur then can pull the sword out, you know, only they can access it. I think it's, you know, I don't think we're leaving our personal codes, but I do think that we are leaving a signature, a key, an impression, you know.
To be honest, I'm not entirely clear on the mechanics of a soul code, because think about it, it is part of the DNA. So if you have your fingerprint on it, there would be an imprint. You know, to be honest, that would be an A/B question I would ask.
Yeah,
Going
I
to
think so.
that a little bit more. All we know, or I know, is that our entire skin suit is obviously made up. We all have, not every single one of us has, you know, all the soul codes of all the 2,300 species out there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That again depends again, you know,
Oh, yeah.
where we have lived, which sun we have come from, which worlds we've been, and all of that. And this
Okay,
why every single one of us is significant.
question here, Martina. Andrew has always said that he's soul family to every person on this planet. So now Andrew has all the soul codes to everyone. So us interacting with him, wouldn't we by default get the soul codes from him, all of it?
And a part of and remembering, but we would not pick up his soul codes. You know, if it's more like again, I think we need to look at soul codes as just the perspective, the level of awareness, just like with dimensions, you know. If you meet somebody like Andrew, then you start remembering the things that you're supposed to be remembering depending on your soul codes. That's what I would say.
So what if I put the word in your passcode? You have to have the passcode.
Passcode, yeah, it is. That's what it is. To add,
Right. Yeah. I mean, as you're talking that, I'm hearing like with today's computer, you have to have your passcode, you know, and so maybe that's, you know, can be put on a more tangible level of understanding that you're leaving like a passcode, or they're leaving you a passcode. And when you put that code in, it takes you to the right search engine to take you to the right experience, you know.
In the recording that I listened to, they were talking about IP addresses, you know.
Yeah.
You need to have the code in order to get into it. So you're not going to get into everything, no matter who you meet. I think that's not that, but whoever you're supposed to be meeting, and the more people, obviously not just people, the more activation, the more awareness, the more heightening of the levels of awareness is a possibility.
Well, in this level of multidimensional awareness, like I think about Hollow Earth, right? The Hub Nouveau embassy in Hollow Earth. Like we all now have codes to get there because Martina and Lana, right, and those who created that hub in Hollow Earth have shared the soul codes here, right, on this exchange. But there's you know, other places, like I see like my embassy at the Council of Evolution, and there's a very, you know, there's limited, so you have to have certain soul codes to access that
Mhm.
embassy, right? And so when you're talking about multidimensional level awareness, those higher dimensional parts of yourself that are working in, you know, in different councils and, you know, different places, right? You have to have the right codes. You have to have the creds to get in. Not everybody can access, you know, some of those.
Absolutely. And you know, Lana, you just said it, Andrew having lived with all the soul families, yeah?
Mhm.
So there is
Yeah,
maybe a level of experience there as
right.
well, which makes a distinction. It's not just, oh, I saw him on one of his shows. No, you're actually getting more into the having an experience with him, or the experience with his teaching itself or something, you know what I mean? So there might be that, but maybe that's a question we can actually ask at some stage, you know, the mechanics of soul code. Maybe there's a recording out there already, which I haven't. The recording I found, if you guys want to watch it, it's just it was 10 or 12 minutes, and it just basically was about primary and secondary soul families.
Didn't he just have that up recently or no?
Maybe that's how it came. I don't know. I found it. No, I put in soul family or something. I don't know.
No, yeah, no, I'm thinking of something else. Sorry, Martina.
It
No.
was only 10 minutes, so, you know, and I pretty much summarized. But listen to it and then see what else comes up. And maybe we can do a show and bring him on at some stage, maybe. And maybe if he wants to answer us some questions, if we got good questions, I'm sure he'll be happy to come
Yeah,
on.
he hasn't done it for a
I
while.
believe, I believe he mentioned that we all have in this skin suit all codes to everything that is not even created yet. I believe, in my perception, I was listening and tuning, in my perception, it's activation of that, what we already have, remembering, other words, remembering. I believe this is what we do for each other. We are reminding each other with some situation or presence, and this is how we activate, make it consciously ours. Because I believe he told we have all codes connected to the skin suit, to our DNA. We have everything, everyone.
Yes, he did say that.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Is so valuable because it has the majority of soul codes to the vast majority of our universe. Yeah?
Activated. He has those codes activated. He remembers.
Got
He remembers.
and
Andrew, yes, Andrew.
And I think there
And
is.
we are in that process of remembering, activating those codes, make them consciously ours.
Yes.
Well, sure. I mean, think about how many times, you know, in the process of your life that you came across some information and it just, whatever, it's not important. But all of a sudden something gets activated and you're like, oh yeah, that, I resonate with that. I feel that. I need to know more about that. So that's the activated soul code and how it draws you in to a certain energy or subject matter.
And isn't that every time you get a new teacher, you know, or somebody, and you listen to the material, it's like, oh yes, yes, yes. And are you really learning something new, or are you being reminded? That's what we always talk about, the great remembering, the great awakening to what we already know, right?
Yeah, I think that was a good word for Irina to throw back in there, is that the remembering part of it, and that the codes are allowing us to access, you know, it's still an access, but it's allowing us to remember those parts that we're not totally conscious of this at this moment. And so that was a great word to bring into it, Irina. Good word.
I want to share something here about that. After listening to him for a while now and listening to other people the past several years, I find that if I'm reading something now and I would just, mundanely, I'll be reading something, I'll come across a certain word and that word will trigger something in me. And then once I get that trigger, I better write it down because otherwise I'd forget. It's like Michael Jackson and Prince all over again. So if I don't write it down, but it would trigger in me such a thing that it will keep going on once I start writing, and I'll get a whole 10 paragraph out of it, because the thoughts would just keep flowing and flowing from one thing to the next. And I think that's the remembering, because just a word will trigger something that would bring into my conscious awareness now something I never thought of before. So I agree with what Irina was saying there. The remembering is coming in, but you've got to do the work of maybe perhaps going through all these processes for a period of time, and then all of a sudden things just start to flow one at a time with ease. But write them down, because if you don't write them down, it's just gonna pass right over your head. And when you're gonna try to remember it, it won't come back.
Yeah, because as we write it, we bring it into our consciousness. We actually materializing it through the writing things down. Now, there's one thing you guys, well, we can do when you do your meditations or something, just add that to your meditation. You know, remember, this is what we're here for. Galactic Ascension Machine. Go and look at his stuff again. What is out there that you've forgotten that you would like to remember even more? Soul codes. He's also saying in that little clip, he's saying that, you know, as you come through the birthing process, every single one of us is having that switch in the crown chakra, in the energy body, that is actually transmitting and receiving the information about, you know, connection. Yeah, so you can always, you know, add that little activation in your crown chakra, you know. So, okay, let's activate that. Or even when you walk out, just for fun, you walk out, okay, activate receiver on, transmit the on, and see what happens. You know, just that.
That sounds like the movie Matrix. Operators, I need how to drive a motorcycle. Operators.
It's a great thing though, because the excitement that you bring to it and the automatic, and you're giving a key code to yourself to acknowledge and to step into, and so like when I used to go out and about, when I first started getting into all of this stuff back in the mid 80s, I guess I didn't go out without like becoming aware of that egg around me and, you know, broadcasting out, you know, and I had a whole little thing that I didn't step outside and go out and do anything without taking that with me. It was a blessing for me, but it was a blessing for everybody else too. So I think that's cool that you brought it up, Martina, because it reminded me of how much of a part of my everyday functioning it was for years and years, you know, going across Arizona and all those dry states and blessing them with water and blessing them with the return to their natural landscapes. And, you know, I mean, just, I don't know, sorry.
And you know, be here now. It takes you into the present moment again.
Yeah.
It's also, you know, when you start going through the dimensional awarenesses, you realize that at the end of the day, there is only the third dimension you can create in.
Right.
So even if we know what everything else is, and we know we go in and out, and you know, the fourth one, yeah, but there's no present, there's no future, there's no past. Okay, well, and what are you going to do with that? Nothing, because you want once you're in the fifth dimension, it's fucking boring, because you need to get back in, you create, right?
Very dramatic.
It's cool. We don't need to get out of it. We need to stay present. And you know, it's not that we didn't know that. I'm just saying that, and that's why I brought it up, because for me it was like, duh. Oh, duh, I get it. Oh, right, yeah. Oh.
I've had a lot of does the last day or two.
Like, duh, you get it, right? You've heard it.
Enough to put a whole Christmas tree up.
I used to say, give me whatever I have to do here, because I don't want to come back here. And then maybe when I say, oh my God, I miss the craziness. I gotta go back.
Well, exactly. But yeah, this is the thing. This is the other thing, that the other duh moment when I was going through my contemplation, was like, well, I've chosen that, right? Yeah. What's the point? Why do you want to get out of it? This is the best part. And also there are people, I think he said that in the recording as well, that one sentence, he said that people burn out doing that, being in the karmic resolution process and you know, obviously being here as a contributor to do their own healing, but also obviously to be here to do the healing of all those timeline paradoxes. So not everyone, and this is why they're bringing in the secondary family, soul families, all the cats and the dogs and the animals and the food chain and everything, because people burn out. And yeah, we know that, right? We've been burned out a couple of times, you know, but we keep on coming back.
We got burned out. We got burned out 4 times before.
Well, and that's the, you know, that's the importance of being a muggle, right? You know, we're all aware of working in that multidimensional sphere and doing the karmic resolution work and the spiritual work, but like Andrew always says, you gotta have fun. Have something that's not that, because that's what renews us, right?
Oh
And
my-
whatever it is, you know,
It makes you
whatever it is.
old. It makes you old when you take, one of the things about being around children is that they are always in the moment. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, they're in the moment. And if they're running, they fall and they hit, you know, they may get up and kick it because they're in the moment. But one of the best things about being with kids is it reminds you to laugh, have fun, and be in the moment. And I think, especially as women, I think we've been kind of taught that as you get older, you have to be, you know, quiet, or you have to sit, or you have to do this, or you, and we totally lose that sense of being fun, you know. Jeez.
Yeah. We can to play and we forgot. We can to play and have fun and we forget.
Yes,
We,
yes.
we do the work, and then we celebrate.
Work, yeah, we do it anyway. We know how to do it now. We're not going to forget that. And I think the best teachers, if you want to look for the best teachers out there, are those that actually saying exactly that. The ones that do not take themselves super serious, they just have some fun and they go out there and they just allow themselves to be human beings, because that's what it's all about. So
Yeah.
for forever now, forget about spirituality, forget it, let it go. It's all happening anyway. But it's also fun to have a bit of awareness about it, right?
I
And to
agree. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
for instance, I went to a cafe on Saturday with a friend. We walked down and there was somebody playing a mouth organ. And I wasn't looking, but I heard the mouth organ the whole time. And I had, as I listened to it on a subconscious, not really aware, I saw this very ancient lady playing it, you know. It's like I knew her from then. And then I thought, oh, let me look. It's a tiny young girl, yeah, 4 years, 5. And I'm like, wow. It's like nobody behind the veil. And I looked at her, I'm like, oh, this is not who she is. You know, I could see the
being.
soul being, you know. So it is fun. It is fun to play like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was an old woman who mastered her craft and came back to share it
To
again.
share it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. And
She wanted to come back in 3D to enjoy all the pizza and the wine and
it
all
was
the good stuff.
almost what she was doing was exactly that soul code activation for whoever could hear it. It's like when I looked, I'm thinking, oh my God, you're facilitating the whole bloody cafe here. Wow.
Have you seen the young kids like coming across a video on the internet, and their presence of what they do is such a, I mean, what they bring in, and as you watch the people reacting to them, it's amazing that, you know, they say, I'm not a great big helper, I'm just a little whatever, but boy, I'm telling you, they pack a hell of a punch. A good one. Yeah.
Well, you know, Andrew had said that it's the young kids that are going to be born now that's going to bring the change into the world. And it's interesting you brought up young kids, because there's a young boy, Indian boy, that's becoming very popular on YouTube right now. I think his first name is Isaac. And I know I saw a video that he did lately, and he's becoming like an interviewer for other little kids his age who are
Oh, how
already
cool.
master at their craft. And I thought, wow, this is what Andrew's been talking about. The
Yeah.
little kids are leading the way now. And
Yeah.
he doesn't take any crap from anybody. He's a master at mathematics and chemistry. And I saw him interviewing this one little boy. He's 9 years old, and he was interviewing this other boy who was 9, I think. And he was a master at his craft of being an artist. And the two of them were just having this conversation, and they were laughing and talking. And you know, and I thought, how amazing this is. This is what Andrew's been talking and telling us about.
Oh, you got to share a link to that, Lana.
Yeah, I'd love
I
to
will.
hear it.
I
Yeah.
will. He's got a whole bunch of, he's a professor already at age 9.
Yeah, I think I saw that like a years ago.
I love it.
I
I love it.
remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they create like an organization because they many kids are super intelligent. They have so many barrier in the education system. They creating something to support the kids that they don't fit in the program, the regular program education. You know, because they're they know more than the teachers, and they create like a whole organization to protect themselves. It's very interesting.
Well, he's got a video out where he's already running for the president of the United States. He started his campaign already at age 9. And I'm thinking
Well,
to
I'll tell
myself,
you,
I'm thinking, wait,
know,
let me finish. I'm thinking
Yep.
to myself, I hope and I trust that he never gets sabotaged by the system, you know, at his age, because you don't know, they will try to come in and, you know, try to lead him down a different path, you know.
Yes.
And let's see what happens.
yeah, I was just going to say, Lana, you made a very good point there. We have one of the things I think is being strived to be left behind is this, and I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the United States, when somebody does a good thing, we've been taught and programmed to one by one start ganging up against them, start saying negative things about them, start, we tear them apart, or we let other people tear them apart. And there have been many, like you were saying, he needs to be protected in a way, because there's many young kids who have done great things and ended up taking their own lives because of the way that society reacts to somebody being good. And I think that's one of the things right now that maybe, because I've heard this a couple of times, we could put a little more awareness on is in asking the question, why do we feel and why do we seem to be directed to attack those people who are doing good? Like the people on the videos these days who are trying to do good for everybody, everywhere, in every world, to talk the truth, are being slammed with negative nonsense stuff. And why do we have that program? And isn't it time that we stop supporting that program? Because I think of all the, especially young kids. I mean, I've just sat and cried at times when I'll hear about something that a deed that a young child did that was so wonderful. And, at first they were, and then bit by bit, the numbers grew against them. And, it became like a really horrible burden that they had to carry. And, it became so torturous to them that they left themselves. So if we could put something different out there to change the idea of when somebody does something good, to stop and question ourselves, why do we feel it's so, I don't know, why do we have the right to make them feel so bad, or to make something good horrible?
Well, that's
Sorry.
where working on self-mastery individually comes in, where you have to, if you are aware and you're conscious, you have to stop yourself. Because if you're thinking, that would be throwing it into the duality. And if you're thinking, well, let me be negative Nancy towards this person. But if you're aware now of in some fashion, you can say, oh, wait a minute here. I'm not going to be negative in this particular moment. And each time you do that, you're taking yourself out from that old way of being, and you're mastering and becoming a different, better person. And you're adding to the whole consciousness on the earth. Because right now, what is really going on, we can see it in the weather pattern, is the collective versus the uncollective. And this is what we individually have to heal ourselves. And there are some people who probably would not want to do that because they enjoy being negative.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
like. Oops, I'm sorry. I would say I like your words about, just real quick, that you're framing it in a way that I was kind of asking it like a worldwide societal question, but you put it back into an everyday, concrete, every one of us can use it right now technique, and that's good.
Well, the technique, I'll give you the technique. Okay.
Soul codes.
Go to your cupboard and take out your 5th dimensional coat and put it on.
Could you repeat it?
Remember,
there is no judgment, no good or bad. All right. Because even those kids that come in, they need whatever they've chosen, whatever they've contracted out. Most of them have already chosen amazing parents that are even in allowance for them to get to that level. Whatever resistance they are encountering will be part of their learning at the same time. And we just need to sit back and say, it is what it is. Everything has its place. If you feel so inclined that you want to help those little buggers, then get them on a Zoom and give them the voice. Yeah. This is what we have to remind ourselves. We've come here to not judge, neither good nor bad. And this is why it's important and useful to understand the different levels of awareness of the dimensions. Say, okay, I'm in 3. Okay, let me just cross that bridge over time, space. There is none of that. Timelessness into 5th dimension. Oh, everything's fine the way it is. Great, get it. Back to creating.
yeah, when I wake up in the morning nowadays, and I remind myself to say to myself, today I live in sacred neutral, because I'm not going to take sides, whether it's the light side or the dark side. There are no sides. You have to be in sacred neutral if you want to make a change in this world right now and to bring universal resolution of karma. You got to let it all go, because we've had that experience. We've been there, done that. Like, what the hell? What else do you want? 3D is a beautiful place. You can eat, drink, dance, smile, live in joy without all the frilliness of the negativity or the extra light or the extra dark. Be in sacred neutral and you'll have all of it and enjoy it.
Remaining in the unentangled observer is another way of saying it. Just observe and look at them when they go through tough stuff. Say, wow. Oh,
bye, Irina.
Bye, Irina. Happy holidays. Well, we're gonna finish off, girls, because it's already Charles. Right, gonna finish off. Any particular questions on this? Be here now.
Yay!
Sacred neutral.
Thank you.
Wishing you a festive
Everybody.
holiday. Yeah, be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Drink, laugh, do whatever you want to do. You can 3D. You're human. Be human. That's the message.
Yes.
Okay.
Blessings.
Adios, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.